Live on Six Music, that's Allo Darlin and My Love. We'll bring you home 2 more numbers to come. Elizabeth, would you mind, when you're ready, introducing the rest of the band, please?
I would love to do that. We have Paul Rains on guitar. We have Dan Mayfield on violin. We have Tia on keyboards. We've got Michael Collins on the drums, and we've got Bill Boarding on the bass.
Hey.
And you're all very welcome. It's wonderful to have you here, and wonderful to hear you playing live again. And there's a new record to talk about as well. Last night you were in Nottingham. How did it go?
It was great. It was really good fun being back in Nottingham. We haven't been there for a really long time. And still really sweaty place to play. Yeah.
There was a listener just earlier talking about how they'd forgotten how magical it was to see you, but also how nice it was to hang out with our Allo Darling fans at the same time as well. Do you understand that feeling?
That's funny. That is something that somebody said, actually. John Jervis, who runs Where It's At Is Where You Are. Yeah. He was there with us as well, and he said, yeah, I'd just forgotten how nice it is, how nice a room it is to be in with lots of Allo Darling fans, which is very sweet. And I can only agree. They are really, really lovely fans.
The funny thing is, I just want to say at this point, because it relates to what you just mentioned, Gid.
That's good.
In the same email, it was actually John and Catherine in Belper who mentioned you, Bill, and your warming smile.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that. Well done, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, of course, now if you're in a filthy mood, right, and you go on stage and you don't smile, everybody will know. The face is a window to the soul, so even if you're in a bad mood, you've got to keep on smiling. You've made a rod for your own back there, mate.
I know, it's a problem. I got told once I had a very encouraging face by Daniel Kitson. That was
encouraging.
Yeah.
Look out in the crowd and see Bill. It's just so encouraging.
That can be your epitaph, can't it? Here lies Bill. He was encouraging.
and the thing is, apropos that, but Bill is actually almost never in a bad mood.
Right.
At least not when he's on stage. The only time I've seen Bill in a really stinking mood is the weekend he gave up smoking, and that was quite a long time ago.
That was pretty bad.
He also expresses himself through his dungarees. I mean, you've got to have a happy disposition to wear such beautiful dungarees as those, mate.
Yeah,
I'm jealous.
Dressing like a 5-year-old. It's my thing.
We should. I don't want to go. You to retell the story about how you've returned, but I know that there were the 2023 shows first of all. Was that testing the water? Did you wonder how they would go?
We did wonder very much how they would go, and it was a case of just that we had mentioned we in the pandemic, like lots of other people, we were talking on Zoom, and because we're actually friends first, and that's the thing about Allo Darlin, and maybe that's part of the key to how the whole thing works. And then this opportunity to play the Ramsgate Music Hall 10-year anniversary show came up, and Mike said, it's in a year's time, we could do it, it could be a nice thing. And so we announced that, and then it was just, well, if people are going to come for that, we may as well do a London show as well. And then they just, it was really amazing. People travelled really far, and we were very, very lucky. And that's what I mean. Allo Darlin fans are really, really, really lovely people.
And then there's the next stage of saying, okay, let's make a record together.
Yeah, exactly. And that's difficult because we live in 3 different countries. Bill lives in Australia, I live in Norway, and Paul and Mike live in England.
They're the trouble there in that, I think, that scenario. I think it'd be fine otherwise.
Yeah. But that's the thing. We just love being with each other so much. And, we're all busy and we have jobs and kids, and unless we actually are proactive and say, no, we're going to make a record or we're going to go on tour, we would never see each other. So if we want to keep the friendship going, we've got to have a reason to get together.
I believe there is some technology now whereby you can actually, do a Zoom, like a team Zoom, and rehearse, and there's no delay.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, then you have to tell us about that after the show.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Good point.
But we did some remote recording. Bill recorded himself at 10 hours ahead of us in Australia while we were in
That's some delay.
Yeah. We were delayed. So that works, yeah. But
cool.
It's just we just love being with each other, and we love playing shows together and seeing all the lovely Allo Darlin fans.
And the resulting record, Bright Nights, is wonderful as well. And it's seeing it alongside the previous 3 records, which all have they're not themed records as such, but there are themes you pick up from those records as they go along. Mm-hmm. And now there's a flow to this one now, because it draws on the years in between to some extent, doesn't it?
Which is a long time. I mean, I think We Come From the Same Place came out in 2014. And so, yeah, it's 11 years since the last one. And yeah, I think we also, we're in a different place of life. We're all in our 40s, but we didn't want to make a record that was like pretending that we were in our 20s and we're an indie pop band. That just felt wrong. So yeah, it felt very natural to write about things like having children and the stage of life that we are in now, and also taking various musical influences that are a bit different from just standard indie pop as well. So we hope we sort of made a record that had also responded to where fans were in their lives as well at that point. So, yeah.
And in that sense of place that you've already touched on in terms of where you are geographically as well, but does Queensland always sort of hover over Allo Darlin songs as well, your songs?
I think so, because I think Queensland for me is almost a bit of a mythical place now. The place I grew up doesn't exist. Nobody's place where they grew up exists in the same way that they used to. But, Bill also comes from Queensland. Although he comes from the Big Smoke. He comes from Brisbane.
Yeah.
I come from the sticks.
Yeah.
So he's more educated than me. But I think that sort of, Queensland music, we always touch on the go-betweens, and there's loads of great bands from Queensland, and it's just that sort of sunniness that I think we had growing up too, even though I live in one of the coldest countries in the world, it just,
Yeah, and winter draws on, so to speak. We're heading into the winter now, and this record, I think your record's have often been quite a comfort blanket as well. And I think this one is as well this time
that's
around.
Kind, thank you. Well, the thing is about, we don't make music we're not in it for the big bucks, to be honest, or the fame. We make it because we make music because it makes us feel good, and it's a way of connecting with our friends and ourselves, I think. And maybe that's what people like about Allo Darlin. I don't know.
You're talking about bands that come from Queensland and it being beautiful and hot and sunny and all that. Are there any doom bands that have ever come out of Queensland?
Yeah, there are some. I won't list them, but one of the things.
Name them.
Let me get back to you.
Okay, fair enough. I was just wondering, so you wake up, you throw open the curtains, you've got this beautiful vista in front of you in the sunshine, and you think that you're going to do some Napalm Death-style death metal.
And there must be some kind of Napalm Death-style bands from Brisbane. Not that I know.
6 Foot Hick were one.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe they use ukuleles instead of guitars, but just have them, real detuned.
It's tough wearing goth makeup in a tropical climate.
There'll be that. Yeah,
very practical. Yes, I understand now.
There's certainly a lot of great punk bands that come from Brisbane. Lots of hot and sweaty bands, and that's a long tradition of that.
Yeah.
Are you ready to play another couple of numbers for us?
Sure. The next song we're going to play is not a hot and sweaty number, but it's just with the three of us. It's Dan and Paul and me, and it's a song that I wrote in my apartment in Oslo, and I recorded it on my iPhone, and I thought that's not going to be anything. And then I found it a few years later and I thought, that might be something. Here we go. It's called Leaves in the Spring.